Hey everyone, it's Antonette of Montalvo International. I just wanted to jump on really quickly and share a little bit of revelation that the Lord was sharing with me. And it had been something that He was kind of like revealing to me over the last couple of days, but I didn't feel like I had the full clarity of what He wanted me to share. And then this morning, I felt like He was just waking me up, kind of giving me the rest of the picture. And it really had to do with hidden weights, and how a lot of times when we are carrying hidden weights, whether in a good way or a bad way, a lot of the times people will only see you struggling from the outside, but not necessarily know what you are carrying. And especially in times of transition or in motion, or where He's bringing you from a stationary place to a more active place in the journey, the process, the promise that He has you in, whatever He's leading you to do in purpose and those types of things. He will start to evaluate what you're carrying, and He may even release a lot of those weights so that you can move with ease. And it was interesting how He first started downloading this thought process to me is, once again, with our kids. They were at a practice, and their sports bag, we didn't realize, was filled with a lot of extra equipment, And over the last couple of practices, and it's hot outside, and there's like a lot of rolling hills that they have to walk up and all these different kinds of things. And they have to carry these heavy bags around with them. And one of our kids was like struggling every time. And I'm like, why is he not able to keep up? Like, some of the other kids graciously were like helping him carry his bag, and like, or the coach was carrying the bag. And I'm just like, I know it's hot out here, I know it's intense, but I just didn't know why he was like struggling so hard with this bag. And so before the most recent practice that we had, my husband was like, let me look through this bag to see what's going on. Maybe we can rearrange some things. Maybe there's like something unnecessary in there that may be causing him to have such a hard time keeping up and carrying around with this bag, because it just looked like all the other kids were able to like keep up and move about, and he was just like literally trying to like get up this hill, and like every time he came up the hill to go to the next portion of practice, like all these other kids were like helping him, which I was so thankful for. I was like giving shout outs to the parents of the kids of like, thank you for allowing your kid to be so generous and kind to help our kid, get around their training area. And sure enough, when my husband started digging through the bag, he realized that there was like probably 6 or 7 pounds of extra stuff that was in this bag. They were like hidden in all the different pockets. There was like extra equipment that was in there that didn't need to be there, because usually when the bags are at the house, they're stationary, or I'm the one carrying the bags around when we're using them or we're practicing or things like that. So I don't necessarily feel the weight, but our kids definitely feel the weight. And it was like all of a sudden the Lord was like downloading this lightning revelation to me about hidden weights, because after the duration of that practice, our kid was like flying. He was like up and down. He was up and down the hills first. He didn't have any problem carrying around his bag. Like, it was like no issue. And I was thinking about the major difference of that between the first set of practices to now, how these hidden weights were literally like causing him to struggle. And a lot of times it's with that in our life, that there's like hidden weights that we're carrying, but people only see us struggling from the outside, but they don't know what we're carrying. And as God started speaking to me about that and just helping me understand a little bit more, He was saying that, especially again, between places where you're going from being stationary. So this bag was at the house most of the time. It was set in a certain location. You didn't really have to think about, the extra stuff that was in there, to when you're more active and moving, where you're in practice, in training, moving about. There are things that on the outside, it looks like you're not keeping up, that you're being slow, that you're, people have to come and help you all the time. But you don't realize some of the hidden weights that you are carrying. And as the Lord started talking to me more about this, He just started saying that as He is transitioning His people to new places, as He's transitioning His people to other realms, other environments, other arenas, He is going to start evaluating some of these hidden weights. Some of them may be things that you need to learn to carry, to have stamina, to be able to persevere. And they may be very much gifts, talents, anointings, whatever that you're carrying. But then He is going to also evaluate the unnecessary baggage, the unnecessary stuff, the things that are too much, stuff that you've been carrying around that's hidden that you didn't realize. It was causing you to struggle. It was causing you to be weighed down. It seemed like it was causing you to be dragged behind, but it wasn't because that you weren't trying hard enough. It wasn't because that you didn't match up to other people. It was because you were carrying unnecessary weights. And like a good father, he's going to evaluate what you are carrying so that your load can be lightened. And it may feel like, okay, the things that I was carrying were necessary. The things that I was carrying, sorry, it's really hot out here. The things that I was carrying are, they're needed in a certain environment, in a stationary environment when you're in one place. But as you start to be more active, be more out there, be in other arenas where you have to move about a lot more and you have to be, public a lot more. You're not just in one spot. You're not going to need all of that. And whatever you're going to need is going to be there for you. You just need the necessary things. And so I hope this is making sense as I'm talking about it. But as he was again talking about these hidden weights and how he's lightening the load, he started highlighting a verse to me that he had me post on one of my coaching pages before, and it would happen to be the verse of the day today, and it's Matthew 11:28, I believe, is the verse that says, "Come to me, all you who are heavy laden, who are laboring, and I will give you rest." And it says, "My yoke is easy and my burden is light. Come to me, all who are heavy laden, those who are weighed down, those who are carrying heavy weights. Come to me. Come to me, those who are laboring, and I will give you rest, because my yoke is easy and my burden is light." And he's been talking to me a lot about resting and how a lot of times, when God is transitioning you, sometimes it looks like a lot of things all of a sudden start to try to stack up on you. Where you should be resting, it's like more stuff and more stuff and more stuff. And those are surefire signals of you are transitioning to something, when he's saying, you need to rest in this. You need to give over any excess weights to me. He may be pulling people out of your life. You may have thought people were pulled out of your life. He may be pulling even more people out of your life. He may be telling you to sit down from certain things because he is lightening the load. He's lightening the load for where you're going. He's lightening the heavy burdens. He's lightening those who have been heavy laden by the issues of life, the circumstances, maybe disappointments, situations, people, things that you were carrying for a time that were necessary where you were, but they're not necessary where you are now, so that you can actually flourish. You can move easily. You can, you don't tire out easily, because again, he says his yoke is easy and his burden is light. So if you have found yourself feeling like, Lord, I feel like things are being taken away from me. I feel like, certain people, certain circumstances, certain things, resources, whatever it is, it seems like it's just being stripped away from me. Just recognize that he's lightening the load so that you can move about where you should be with ease, that you're not weighed down by unnecessary baggage that at one point was necessary, but it's no longer necessary where you're going now. So just be encouraged in this. Be encouraged about him revealing heavy weights, and again, heavy weights that may be unnecessary, but then even weights that you were carrying that he is asking you to carry, and you might be just slowing down a little bit because it's time to birth forth whatever you've been carrying. But just know that as the Father evaluates it, as he's carrying you in it, he is going to be the one to lighten the load so that you're not heavy laden, that you're not labored down, because his yoke is easy and his burden is light, in Jesus' name.